The Kabbalistic tree of life is a map of how the journey of the divine spark manifests into creation. This is how the universe was created, and this is how we manifest our inner and outer realities as proxies of the divine. In this video, we explore the Kabbalistic tree of life and the Ten Sephirot, as well as what it all stands for when it comes to advanced manifestation. To understand the tree of life, we must first understand what it means to be a divine creator by proxy. We are proxies in the sense that we are created in the image of God as co-creators, and we have free will to create. We are children in the sandbox, creating castles and pyramids, often forgetting about who created the sandbox. Mastering the tree of life is like having better tools in the sandbox of our daily realities, which allows us to live better. Understanding the Ten Sephirot, or divine emanations, of the tree of life unlocks our ability to tune in to our innermost desires and manifest them according to the process of creation, which means finding harmony between our conscious and unconscious desires, as well as our divine purpose. Each Sephirah represents a stage in the creative process, from the initial spark of inspiration to the tangible manifestation of desires. The journey unfolds along two primary pathways: the lightning flash, which traces the descent of divine energy through the Sephirot, and the serpent's path, symbolizing the ascent of consciousness through introspection and integration. Now, let's talk about each divine emanation, starting from the top. Keter, crown, is the silent breath before the first word, the white noise of pure potential. It exists beyond thought, an echo of the Ein Sof, the infinite void from which everything comes into creation. To touch Keter is to confront the terror of beginning, the vertigo of acting on a will that transcends individual desire. Here, the creator faces a paradox. How do you channel a divine impulse without distorting it with ego? Those who cling to Keter risk becoming spectral, lost in the intoxication of infinite possibility, while those who ignore it produce work devoid of soul, mechanistic and hollow. The question Keter whispers is not what to create, but why, and whether you can bear the weight of an answer that may never fully reveal itself. Then comes Chokmah, wisdom, the masculine burst of raw, undifferentiated insight. It is the vision that arrives unbidden, the dream that hijacks the mind upon waking. Yet Chokmah's brilliance is treacherous. How do you distinguish revelation from delusion? The artist intoxicated by Chokmah may chase endless new ideas, mistaking novelty for depth, while the skeptic who dismisses its chaos condemns their work to sterility. The danger lies in either clinging to the purity of the initial spark or abandoning it too soon, fearing it cannot survive the descent into form. Chokmah asks, will you trust this madness? Or will you sanitize it into something palatable, safe, and small? Binah, understanding, is the womb where chaos is cradled into structure, the feminine force that dissects Chokmah's light into grids of meaning. She is the architect, the critic, the mother who demands sacrifice. What must die for this vision to live? Binah's gift is clarity, but her shadow is rigidity. Creators who resent her critical eye and choosiness may romanticize raw genius, refusing to edit, refine, or compromise on their vision, only to watch their work collapse under its own weight. Yet, without Binah, ideas remain ghosts, haunting the mind but never touching the world. She forces the question: is this structure a prison or a scaffold? And are you brave enough to dismantle it if it no longer serves? Chesed, mercy, and Geburah, severity, are the twin engines of growth and restraint. Chesed is the boundless generosity that wants to give the work infinite resources, time, and scale, the patron who funds every whim. Geburah is the warrior who cuts away the excess, the editor who deletes beloved paragraphs for the sake of the whole. Together, they ask, what are you willing to destroy to protect the core? What are you willing to risk to let it breathe? Imbalance here is catastrophic. Chesed unchecked becomes bloat. projects abandoned in half-finished sprawl. Gebura untempered becomes austerity, vision stripped of vitality, all bone and no flesh. Their dance demands a ruthless compassion, a willingness to love the vision enough to both nurture and prune it. Ten, beauty, is the heart where contradictions fuse into coherence. It is the moment the artist steps back and sees the vision not as theirs, but as a bridge between realms, personal and universal, broken and whole. Ten thrives on paradox. How can destruction be an act of love? How can surrender amplify power? Here, the creator confronts the illusion of control. To force harmony is to suffocate the creation. To reject it is to drown in chaos. Ten's question is visceral. Does this creation serve your ego, or does it serve something older, wilder, and far less concerned with your name? Netzach, victory, and Hod, splendor, are the duel between passion and precision. Netzach is the relentless drive to create, the obsession that burns through nights and weekends. Hod is the scholar's lens, dissecting the creative spark into symbols, systems, and logic. Netzach asks, will you keep going when the world dismisses you? Hod counters, does this even mean anything? Their conflict is the forge where art is tempered. Lean too far into Netzach, and the creation becomes a fever dream, unmoored and self-indulgent. Lean too far into Hod, and it calcifies into sterile intellectualism. The balance lies in knowing when to let the heart lead and when to hand the reins to the mind, or to hold both in uneasy truce. Yesod, foundation, is the shadow theatre of the subconscious, where the creation is filtered through dreams, fears, and unmet hungers. It is the realm of the story we tell ourselves. The fulfillment of this will redeem me. If you're an artistic creator, you might say this video will make them see, or this song will outlive my death. Yesod's mirror distorts. To create from here is to dance with ghosts, ancestral wounds, childhood longings, the ache for validation. The danger is twofold. Ignoring these shadows lets them sabotage the work in unseen ways, while over-identifying with them turns creation into a shrine to the unhealed self. Yesod asks us, what void are you trying to fill? And what if fulfillment of the vision cannot fill it? Malkuth, kingdom, is the grave and the cradle, the material plane where the idea becomes a thing, flawed and mortal. Here, every compromise of the descent is laid bare, the vision diluted, the execution imperfect, the reception uncertain. Malkuth demands the humility to accept the outcome, to love it, not for what it could have been, but for what it is. A fragile testament to the journey. The creator who clings to Malkuth grows bitter, worshipping the product like a gilded idol. The one who flees it becomes a ghost, forever hovering above the realm of action. Malkuth's final lesson is brutal and liberating. The manifest reality is not yours. It never was. It is a loan from the void, and the void will reclaim it. Beyond the 10 Sephirot lies Da'at, knowledge, the hidden 11th sphere, the abyss where knowledge is gained. Da'at is not a Sephirah but a threshold, the chasm between the celestial triad, Keter, Chokhmah, Binah, and the manifest world. To cross Da'at is to leap into the unknown, where intellectual certainty evaporates, and the ego is unmasked as an illusion. The Zohar says, one who wishes to approach is drawn close, revealing Da'at's paradox. You cannot force this crossing, yet you cannot refuse it once the call arrives. Here, manifestation becomes not an act of will, but of surrender, a recognition that creation is not owned but channeled. The lightning flash is the divine current that arcs from Keter to Malkuth, the primordial blueprint of creation. It is the path of emanation, where infinite potential fractures into the finite, the spark that ignites galaxies, dreams, and poems alike. To manifest along this path is to ride the cosmic current, aligning with the raw, unbridled flow of divine energy. The serpent's path, coiled and sinuous, represents the soul's ascent, the winding journey back to unity. Unlike the lightning flash's linear descent, the serpent moves in spirals, threading through the 22 hidden paths that connect the Sephirot. This is the path of integration, where each creation becomes a mirror for the Creator's transformation. The serpent asks, "What have you learned in Malkuth's grit? How has Yesod's shadow reshaped you? Can you carry these fragments back to the crown?" Where the lightning flash is divine inevitability, the serpent is human becoming, the alchemy of turning leaden experience into golden wisdom. In the metaphor of the sandbox, Da'at is the moment the child looks up from their castle and glimpses the vastness of the horizon. The awareness that the sand, the shovel, and even their hands belong to a larger design. To master Da'at is not to control it, but to kneel before it, recognizing that the tools of manifestation, the Sephirot, are borrowed from the Ein Sof, the Endless One. Here, the Creator confronts the ultimate question. Are you building castles to claim the sandbox, or to honor the one who shaped it? Crossing Da'at demands the death of the illusion of separateness. It is the abyss where I becomes we, where personal desire merges with divine intent. This is not annihilation, but expansion. The lightning flash gifts the vision. The serpent demands the sacrifice. Together, they represent the paradox of manifestation. To create is to both wield power and relinquish it. The lightning flash asks, "Can you surrender to the current?" The serpent counters, "Will you gather the scattered shards of your journey and forge them into a new crown?" Manifesting desires through the lens of the Kabbalistic tree of life is not about coercing reality to bend to one's will, but aligning with the divine architecture of creation itself. Each Sephirah represents a stage in the alchemy of turning intention into form, revealing that true manifestation requires both conscious action and surrender to the sacred currents. Kairos is about seizing the opportunities that come with wisdom and understanding. I hope you find this video valuable. Join the Kairos Collective for future updates.